Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in yet another video on this channel. And in today's video, we'll be looking at a topic which continues to baffle ordinary population as well as astrologers throughout the world of Vedic astrology as well as Western astrology. Of course, Western astrology does not have this concept. And this is the concept of Saade Satti. Okay. So it's a tumultuous period of 7.5 years where Saturn goes over your moon. Okay, but then this period actually begins much before Saturn goes over your moon. Saturn Saade Sati begins when Saturn goes 12th from your natal moon. Okay, and I'm sharing the screen so that I can explain the concept better. So this is the period. Say your moon is here. So the stage one of Saade Sati begins when Saturn is going 12 from the moon. This is the main stage of Saade Sati. And this is the third stage of Saade Sati. Okay. Now, Saturn has moved to the sign of Pisces on the 29th of March, 2025. And because of that, you know, Capricorn moon signs are out of Saade Sati. Okay. And Aquarius moon signs have started the last phase of their Saade Sati. Pisces moon signs have started the second or the most difficult phase of their Saade Sati, and the Aries have started their first phase of Saade Sati. Okay, now this video is about navigating this tumultuous period of 7.5 years, and that is the reason I've included 7 tips to get about this. Okay, so the first mistake that people do during Saade Sati is by worshipping Saturn, which is absolutely wrong. Okay, Saturn represents your past life karmas. Okay, so we don't have a time machine that allows us to modify our past life karmas. Okay, so you have to remember that whatever past life karmas are there, Saturn is going to bring the results of those past life karmas during this period of Saade Sati. Okay, so Saturn does not cut any slack. Okay, so don't make this mistake of worshipping Saturn. That is the first and the most important tip. What you do instead is you start worshipping the sun. Okay, you start worshipping the sun, and as you start worshipping the sun, you know, you will find that the sun's rays starts burning those bad karmas for which Saturn is going to punish you or give you bad results. Okay, and the best way to worship the sun is to get up along with the sun. Okay, you should get up at least during Brahma Muhurta, and that is going to allow you to absorb the positive rays of the sun. Okay, and one of the best stotras to do during this period is the Aditya Hridayam Stotra, because remember, the sun is the natural Atmakaraka. It is the significator of your soul, and this period of Saade Sati is very, very painful for the soul. Okay, so you have to first start worshipping the sun. Okay, and the sun is one of the most neglected deities in Vedic astrology, as well as in our daily lives, because we see it before our very eyes, and that reduces its value somewhat. Okay, so the sun and the moon, they are known as the Pratyaksha Devatas. Okay, and if you manage to get the blessings of the sun and the moon, then the other planets are not going to be, so traumatizing for you, even if they're badly placed. Okay, so the first thing is that you have to worship the sun. Okay, and another precaution to do, to follow is not to do the Gayatri mantra without initiation. A lot of people would tell you or rather advise you straight away that you should do the Gayatri mantra. But the Gayatri mantra, remember, it's not a Prasiddha mantra, so you don't do it without getting initiated. And here I'm talking about the Savitur Gayatri mantra, okay, the one that we hear all over the place. Okay, don't do the Gayatri mantra without getting initiated. If you want to do the Gayatri mantra, then get initiated. And as I say, the best way to worship the sun during this period is through reciting the Aditya Hridayam. Okay. The next tip, or the next thing that you must follow while if you're undergoing this period of Saade Sati is to declutter your life. Okay. Remember, Saturn is going to take things away from you during the 7.5 years. Okay. But what you must also understand is those things were already not required. Okay. You are just carrying the baggage of those things that Saturn takes away during this period. Right. So you have to declutter your life. Friends will turn into enemies, or you will lose touch with your friends, or maybe, friends will not be your friends anymore during this period. But what you must understand is those people had anyways uh, outlived their utility in your life. Okay, many people go through traumatizing divorces, or separations during this period. So you must remember that if you are actually going through such a situation where you are getting separated from your partner, then you must understand that the partner had already outlived his or her utility in your life. Okay, so you have to be prepared to let go of things. Okay, and the same concept you must also follow at your home. If there are things at your home which you no longer need, which are no longer serving their purpose, please get rid of them. Okay, you either donate them or get rid of them. You may sell them at a pawn shop, but whatever you do, get rid of all those things at your home which are no longer necessary. If things are piling up at a particular place, just free up the space, because Saturn cramps you for the room. And in this case, it cramps your mind like this. Saturn is like a vice grip that cramps your mind. Okay. So, once you start decluttering your surroundings, your environment, you'll see that your mind is going to get more space to breathe. Your mind is going to get some breathing space. And that is the second tip. Okay. The third tip, you have to start respecting time. Okay, remember the sun represents time. Okay, and you have to start respecting time. And as I said, the best way to respect time is to get up along with the sun and do your duties without being lazy. Okay, do your duties without being lazy. You have to start doing things on time. You have to start having food on time. You have to start, if you are a professional, if you're a working professional and you have a habit of getting up late in the morning, those things are not going to work. Okay, because if you don't respect the sun, then reciting the Aditya Hridayam Stotram even for 100 times is not going to bring you any benefits. Okay, so you have to start respecting time. You have to get up along with the sun. Even if you're not getting up along with the sun, try to get up early morning before 9 o'clock and start your day early. Okay, and try sleeping early. Okay, remember during this period, Saturn is going to fill you with tamas. You'll not feel like doing anything. You'll not feel like going anywhere. Things will start feeling like a drag. So you have to start respecting time. Okay, keep that in your mind. You may find yourself in a situation where your wall clocks and watches are not working. So get them into working order, maybe change their batteries or get a new wall clock or a new watch and start, following a daily schedule. Start getting disciplined. Okay. The fourth tip to deal with this period is to, lower down your expectations. Okay. If Saturn is going to make you work very, very hard during this period, but if you start having high expectations from your hard work, you'll always meet with failure. Okay, so just stop expecting outcomes from your work. Be develop that attitude that if some outcome comes, it's by grace, and if no outcome comes, then you are prepared to slog it out. Okay, a lot of people get demotivated because whatever things they work on, they don't really fructify, or it takes a long time for things to fructify during this period. And remember, 7 years are going to feel like, one day is going to feel like 7 years when you undergo the peak of your Saade Satti. Okay, so you have to be patient. Remember, Saturn, if you are going through Saade Satti, Saturn is going to imbibe some of its qualities into your moon, that means into your mind. And the first and foremost quality that Saturn is going to imbibe is the quality of patience. So you have to be really, really patient with everything and everyone around you. If you are an employee, if you're working somewhere, you have to be patient with your seniors, with your superiors, okay, with your bosses. If you're a student, you have to be patient with your studies. Say you are into research, you have to be patient with getting your results. If you are, if you're into sales, you have to be patient to get more sales going. If you're into marketing, you have to be patient while waiting for your leads to convert. Okay, so you have to exercise this quality of patience. You have to lower down your expectations. Okay, then the fifth tip that you must follow is to practice silence. Okay, remember Saturn is the planet of isolation. Okay, and one of the things that people fear the most is the fear of silence. Okay, so try to spend some time alone every day, without your mobile, without anyone else. Okay, maybe I'm not saying you lock yourself up or you be in a dark room, but try to spend some time in complete silence. Maybe 10 minutes a day of complete silence is going to go a long way in developing this quality. Okay, so Saturn is try to isolate yourself from the daily noise. Okay, away from your office, away from your work, away from your family. Just try to spend time alone. Okay, and as I said, by spending time alone, I don't mean asking you to spend time alone in a dark room. Rather, you can go out and spend time alone in the public park where you are not interacting with anyone for 10 minutes. Okay. So just try to be silent for 10 minutes. Okay. And I'm not only saying about the physical silence, I'm also saying about the mental silence. Okay. When your mind, if you are alone in a particular space, then your mind is going to chatter. So you must ask your mind to calm down. You must be able to calm down your inner chatter. Okay. Being silent does not only mean not talking, being silent also means cutting down on your mental chatter. Okay. So as you cut down on your mental chatter, as you embrace the silence, you will see that Saturn is going to give you good results. Okay. Then the sixth tip is that you have to be prepared to work very, very hard in your respective profession. Okay, say whatever profession you're working in, you won't get things easily once your Saade Satti starts. Okay, and as I said, the tip of patience is the quality of patience is going to go help you a long way in this regard. Okay, so when you don't get things easily, or when things don't work out the way they used to work out, you have to be patient. You have to develop this understanding that you're going through a period where slowdown is a norm. Okay, so lie low, be very patient with yourself, with others, and be prepared to grind it out. Okay, remember Saturn represents the grinding factor. Okay, so be prepared to grind it out for the next 7.5 years. If you are ending Saade Satti, say you are an Aquarius moon, then you have 2.5 years more to go for Saade Satti. But then the time has not yet arrived to apply your brakes. Sorry, to apply the accelerator. You still have to work by applying your brakes. Okay, so be prepared to grind, be prepared to work very, very hard in your profession, and stop expecting results. Okay, this is the sixth tip. The final tip of Saade Sati is that you have to start building your foundations. Okay, you have to start examining your foundations. For example, let's say you are in a relationship. Okay, so you start exploring those areas which are going to make your relationship stronger. Say, you have been newly married, and all of a sudden this period has come up, and then you'll see that your relationship is on a shaky ground. So try to maintain those areas which are going to make your relationship strong. Okay, you'll initially it is going to be very, very boring. Okay, initially it's going to take you a bit of time to understand and analyze what are the foundations of the various things in your life. Right, say you are in a profession, you're in a professional field of say coding. Let's say you're in a profession of coding. So now try to build a foundation of learning something new. Okay, try to build a foundation where you are doing things in a new way. Okay, or try to find out things which are not working in your profession. So Saturn represents the foundational part, and once your foundations are correct, you would have actually embraced the lessons that Saturn is trying to bring you. Okay, and if you're facing any difficulty in any area of your life during this period, you have to remember that your foundations are weak, so you have to strengthen the foundations. In your job, maybe strengthening your foundation might mean revisiting something that you had studied in college, and now you are required to apply in your professional life. Or say you are in a relationship, maybe it requires you to revisit a period where you're dating your partner and things work out well, and now because you are married, you have forgotten about those things, and your partner is also frustrated because of that very reason. So try to analyze and reanalyze the foundations of your life, and work on strengthening those foundations if you think those foundations have become weak. And once you start doing that, of course, it's going to take a lot of patience, a lot of effort. Once you start doing that, you're going to get rewarded in the towards the end of Saade Sati. Okay, and remember, Saade Sati is not going to dry up your finances as many people predict. It's a doomsday prediction that says that Saade Satti is going to dry up your finances. It's going to make you a beggar. No, I've seen a lot of people getting the highest amount of wealth in their life they've ever gotten in their life when they undergo this period of Saade Satti. Okay, so it's not a it's not an easy period, of course, but it's not a doomsday period. This is a period where Saturn is trying to crush the old and build something new for you. Okay, so as you embrace the change, things are going to work out slowly but surely. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this video is helpful. If any one of you is going through Saade Satti, please apply these 7 tips that I've told you. And if someone has ended their Saade Satti, for example, Capricorn Moon, has ended the Saade Satti, do let me know if you applied these techniques in your daily life to get over this 7.5 period. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the content if you find it useful, and please share it with your friends and family if you think they are going to benefit from this information. I'll see you soon in yet another video. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.